club from 64 through to probably late 60s to early 70s were pretty tough times for the club on the field. We didn't have a lot of success.
No, we got thumped quite a few times, you know.
But the biggest move we made was, and we were forced to do it, but we were going to anyway, was the youngsters.
Yeah.
We had, before there was the junior football club, we were running under age teams then, you know,
Under 14.
12, under 14,
14s, yeah.
under 12. And with those kids come right through up into the first, a lot of them were bloody good footballers.
When we were coming through, and yourself and that, you had to get a house here, you had to have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And I lived in Mulberry Crescent, and I think there were 63 kids in Mulberry Crescent. You know, like, and I mean, you know, like, and there was the same in just about every street. Every house had 3 kids and, you know, heaps of kids there was.
I think I moved into Pines when I was 1 or so, or 2 in Mulberry Crescent, and we went to the footy every Saturday, no matter what. And the junior footy was obviously on a Sunday, and that was down at Mulberry. Later on, that was down the end of the road, so we'd go down there on a Sunday and training every Monday and Wednesday, and Tuesday, Thursday at the footy club. We'd come to the footy club on a Thursday night for meals. And that, yeah, they were great memories, and it happened from, you know, like from as early as I can remember, probably 4 or 5 till, you know, like 19, 20 really, and then come back playing here. So yeah, it was great memories, yeah.
And like in those days too, we had 2 under 10s, 2 under 12s. You know, we had kids running out of our ears, you know, and this is where it all started naturally from the juniors, you know, and they were dying to come down here and play under 17s. And
I think in under 9s we had like, I think we had 50 something under 9s down there, and it was like absolute mayhem. Because you imagine how revved up the kids would have been in under 9s, and him trying to control everyone, kids running everywhere, football's going everywhere. But then like the amount of kids that we had back then from the estate, and they were all from the estate. It wasn't if we had anyone from any other place, like Seaford, Carrum Downs wasn't even around then, so everyone lived in the estate.
They were all mates. This is the thing, you know, like there's at least, without even going into thinking about it, a half a dozen players should have gone on and played league football from junior football. But they just were mates. They didn't want to go up, leave their mates. They'd like a game of football, few beers, or a lot of beers, Saturday nights, Sunday mornings, and they were mates. They had a ball here, you know.
Who were the toughest teams, you think, in your era, playing against? Who are our real...
Crib Point.
I would have hated to play against us. Would have hated to play against us, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
They, Crib, when Millsy was talking about, they beat us. They had 5 Seaford blokes, Alderson,
1 year.
Kangaroo O'Neill, Peter Williams, Pavetta, all in the team, and they were big, strong. You know, we were only a pack. Fortunately, we could run, probably out of sheer fear, but it did work for us.
And the hard games against Crib Point is also epitomised in the fact that Crib Point was the very last team that we could not beat. It took us nearly 10 years to beat Crib Point in a senior game.
Pearstone were always hard.
Yeah,
always hard.
Idiot full back.
Oh, geez, they had a few. A bloke named Ivan Check.
That's him. Yeah, full back he was.
And
that bloke from Rosebud, the kids hated playing on that Fisher.
Clem Fisher, yeah. He was always worth 3 goals to us, though, because he had a bad temper.
Yeah.
But so we started then in 72, and I think we finished 5th that first year. Baz, I'm not thinking. Well, we had a good year anyhow because they're only kids, you know. And then in 73, I think we went through undefeated except for the finals, but there was excuses that we had still had kids playing, and we come up against Navy, and I mean they were all 6'2" bloody phys ed people from all over Australia.
Like early when Berkey first got here, probably 73 probably went through undefeated and didn't win a final, and then 74, 75, both really good sides. And I suppose all the young kids just coming in earlier on, like the under-17s coming up, they all know who they are, but that was the difference in 76. They were just good footballers. If they weren't there, like, we wouldn't have won anything, but they were just good, tough footballers and young kids. But 76 was just so long coming and fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing was too that when I took over, these boys were 17, 18, 19, 20, and a few older naturally. But like 13 years later or 15 years later, they're still, they were still playing, a lot of them, So we had good players, and because we recruited a few boys from around Frankston, Martin, Simic and all that, the Tedgie that other sides wouldn't go near, because their reputations, and so that helped a bit. Because we had, and Turk, Daryl Saunders, and so these boys were goers, and any side that played us knew they were in for a hard day, no matter where we were on the ladder.
Yeah, the kids were too young then. They were coming up at 17 and playing against tough guys like bloody Navy rigged their side every week. They played us. But as they matured more, so 76, 78 happened, and then, even the reserves were very strong earlier on, and that's through those kids as well. Yeah.
It's from halfway through 1980, right through until halfway through 1984, we only ever lost 2 senior games. Unfortunately, they were grand finals. When we learnt hard out of that one, and we went on, and that was the 1981 grand final against Somerville, and the 1982 grand final against Bond Beach. We'd beaten Bond Beach in 1980, and we beat Crib Point, as I said, in 1983. But they were what we reflect back on our great years.
I think the thing that would define Pines the most, though, is I don't think it was ever about an individual player that would make them. I think it was more about the team and the spirit, and it's probably been said before, is that the spirit and so forth, and that was the whole fabric, I think, of the Pines Footy Club and the teams that I've played in, the successful teams, and even the teams that battle. Like, I've played in sides that got thumped week in, week out at Pines, but it was still, it was always about just giving what you had, and you couldn't do much about it after that.
At one stage there, I think we went 20 years in a row with a reserve side in the final. So, and our first were always there, weren't we, first?
They were all up there, yeah.
And we didn't win a lot, but I think success comes from being competitive every year, and I think that's what we were.
We were certainly competitive with the boys we had. I mean, they were real goers.
And played in the grand final, and we had Regan Stubbs sent off in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and Timmy McDonald sent off in the first 5 or 10 minutes. So we had our full back and full forward sent off. Our bookends were off, and thanks to Neil McKinnon. And then we, and I think I looked up about halfway through the second quarter, and we might have been about 75 points down. And then halfway through the third quarter, I thought to myself, this is going to be a record loss. There's nothing we could do. Edithvale Aspinall were all over us, and then I think it was JJ, might have been JJ, I'm not too sure, did a streak. Thought he'd do a streak, ran across the ground, and I don't know if it fired us up or anything like that, but we ended up getting to within, 20-something points in the last quarter. We're never ever going to win, but the interesting thing about that is that after the game, we were all shattered, obviously, and Paddy Swain, who was assistant coach at that stage, said to me, you know what? The funny thing about this, in 10 or 20 years' time, when this mob have a reunion, they'll be wearing name tags because they will be gone. No one will know anyone in that. And I thought, it doesn't matter, Paddy, we lost and so forth. And last year, in 2012, Troy Shannon rang me up and said, look, we've got a reunion on for the premiership when we beat you. Would any of your boys, do you want to ring up and see if any of your boys want to come down and just have a beer or something? And I said, well, a few of them will probably be going to watch the game anyway. And so we got down there early. I think there was about half a dozen of us or so. We went in there, and and there was more of us, more Pines players, and they won the first and seconds. There was more Pines players in the rooms until I would say maybe halfway through the last quarter of that game, or even towards the end of the quarter. And things like that are, you know, like are important. Like we've seen here, the reunion we had here last year for the '83 era. You know, like, you know, no other club could probably do that. No other club could do that, and I think that's the fabric of the Pines Footy Club.
Yes, it is another side of playing in the game, being in the club, being involved. I feel that I'm still out. I feel that even though I come along each week, and as I sit down on Sunday mornings and I do my club notes for the Footy Record every week, and at the end of the year tally up all the statistics and all that sort of thing, I feel that I'm still wearing a jumper. I feel that I'm still out there with the boys, and that's the great part of it. I can feel the rosin on my hands now.
Like and as we grow up and get a bit older, your lives sort of, you know, drift apart. But, you know, every past Players' Day or every time you meet up with the blokes you played with, grew up with, and so forth, nothing changes. Like I can guarantee, round one this year, past Players' Day, or I'll get together with the same blokes you get together with, and you'll talk about the same stories you talked about last time, and they'll be funnier, and they'll be a little bit more involved in them, and then the same thing will happen round 18 next year, and the same thing will happen round one the following year. We'll talk about the exact same stories, and nothing, you know, they'll just be better stories.
If there was one word to describe your time and memories at the football club, Juniper, what's the one word you would use?
Pride.
Pride, yeah.
Yeah, loyalty's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, loyalty.
I think that's because of the kids that
Yeah, but
they come right through. Well, you would have been amongst that.
yeah, because we kept so many of the younger players when they came from 14s to 17s to second 18 and then the seniors. And that was only loyalty. They stuck with us. And we had very few imports in our teams in the early days because we had all the juniors coming up.
I don't know if there could be one defining word, Mark. I don't know. Like I now play a different cricket club, right? And the blokes who play there I know of Pines, and they play Super Rules and they play here, and they're infatuated by the place. You know, the stories they hear about them, and a lot of them aren't true, like and how it is now and so forth. And they're wrapped when they come here. They come and watch games of footy here just to come here, and that's. So I don't know if there is one word that I could say that would define the club, but we spoke off about the loyalty and, you know, just the passion. I don't know, everyone moves on, but I still think that, you know, the old saying that you can take the boy out of the Pines, but you can't take the Pines out of the boy. I don't think that ever does change. I don't think it does. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I play down Richmond. I coach Clayton, Sandringham, Pines, and all those clubs were absolutely terrific. But, you know, this one, Pines, none better. None better. I had the greatest 6-7 years coaching down there that you could imagine, you know, and that's it, you know, one word, absolutely tremendous. There's three.
Probably the greatest time, apart from your family, the greatest time of your life. Sensational. Great place. Only got to talk to my wife about that, you know. I love the place. So.
Fantastic for me, yeah, really good. Yeah, miss that sort of stuff. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. That was one word, wasn't it? No, it was a bit more, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a few more.
Yeah,
Nils. What school did you go to?
Go on, give them one, shut up.
One word. I suppose one word that stands out to me, not more so that the people here was loyalty, more than anything. That was, and it's still staunch. Yourself, other people have been here. They're still coming back. Yeah, Jack's overseas and all that still comes back. It's that word stands out more than anything to me. Yeah, the loyalty and the dedication of the place. Yeah, it's magnificent.
Very good question, Mark, and you have asked this of the other chaps here tonight. But if I was to say one word, I would say involvement. Being involved. It is so pleasing and so proud to be a Pines person when you go somewhere. I heard a similar thing mentioned before, and to be able to say you're from Pines. And whatever they think about you or whatever they think about Pines, it's bad luck, mate, because I'm from Pines and I'm proud of it, and you're not going to change it.